I'm Pastor Davin Johnson, and this is a story of what God did in my very first fast. So in December of 2005, I got some news from my father. He came over to my house and he shared with me that he had stage 4 melanoma. The prognosis from the doctors was that it was very severe, that there wasn't going to be much hope for a long-term survival. One of the most difficult parts as he was sharing the news was just the thought of he would not be able to spend time potentially with our future grandkids.
In 2005, I had a little bump on top of my head. Anyway, when the dermatologist looked at my head, she said, well, I think I should take a biopsy of that, do a biopsy. I got the results of that biopsy, and they told me it was something that was benign, but I had nothing to worry about. And in the healing process of where she did that shaving, I developed 3 little blisters on top of my head. And I wasn't that concerned about it because my wife was looking at it and she said, no, you need to call the dermatologist and get back in there. That doesn't look right. 3 months later, it started oozing with blood and mucus, and so I knew I had a problem. And when I went back in for that, my dermatologist started bringing all these other dermatologists in just to look at my head. And one of the doctors took me back to do a biopsy, and he said, we think it's melanoma. He said, I'll let you know by phone. When he called me, he said, yes, you do have melanoma, and it doesn't look good. He mentioned that the reason why it was so threatening was because they grade the severity of the melanoma based on the thickness of the tumor. And in a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the most shallow and 5 being the thickest, I had a 4.5. And so that put me in a category where it was very life-threatening. And so that was my first introduction to the problem that I had before me. I became a little emotional in that it was shocking knowing that my time was going to be running short on me, and I was just 57 years old, and I felt very young, vital, and all.
At the same time this was going on, I had been attending Destiny Church. We were talking about fasting, and it was something that I had never partaken in. I had never done a fast in my life. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure how those 21 days would look, but I was encouraged by what I heard. I was excited. Most definitely, my dad and his health and the cancer being completely destroyed and him being completely healthy was priority. This was going to be my number 1 prayer. There were times when I was sad, just thinking about my dad being only 57 and just thinking about some of the things he might miss and future time together. But there was other times I was very encouraged during the fast and hopeful, and just encouraged that we serve a big and a mighty God who specializes in the impossible, and that he was even going to use doctors in this process. My faith was strengthened, my faith was encouraged as I was praying every day during those 21 days.
The first surgery, they did a massive, cutting away of the area there, and they also took out 3 lymph nodes on either side to see if there was any drainage on that side. And what they found was I had more melanoma on this side of my neck, so they had to do another surgery. So that was the second surgery a month later.
And so he had these surgeries. The tumors were removed, and this was an exciting time because we were encouraged that, even though he had to do regular checkups, we were greatly encouraged that they said the cancer was gone, that they had not only removed the cancer, but they had no traces or signs of it after that last surgery.
At the time my diagnosis surfaced, I relied heavily on God to get me through daily. And so I felt actually blessed by the whole thing because it drew me closer to God. I saw 4 different oncologists, and I had the opportunity to witness to them about the Lord, and the typical response that I got from those doctors and nurses were, "Wow, you seem like you're handling this really well," because they knew my prognosis was not good. And I said, "Yeah, well, it's because I have the Lord. I believe in the Lord, and He's going to get me through this." You don't have to have something really bad or significant happening to you right now in the moment for you to rely totally on God and to seek His face and to seek His direction for your life.
It's now been 17 years, and what was powerful was Jesus didn't just use the doctors in this situation for healing. They did a great job, but Jesus absolutely and utterly destroyed every cancerous cell. And so we're beyond grateful that my dad really, truly is a walking miracle. And so to see God's faithfulness over time, I'm just so encouraged and I'm excited, and I want to encourage everyone. And as we partake in this, it is about less of us, more of Him, sacrificing, putting away the things of ourselves, and getting more of Christ in our life. Stick through whatever it is you've sacrificed, that you've consecrated to the Lord during this time of fasting and prayer. Continue to press into Him, because you serve a faithful and loving and gracious God. Bless you.